Did the angel of Esav attempt to castrate Yaakov? That sounds off, sounds strange, but might be exactly what the angel was trying to do. Right. So let me take you there and see what it means historically and what the message is for us. Right. So we read by Yivatel Yaakov Levado. Yaakov stays alone. He's going to fight the angel of Esav. This is clearly a meta-historical moment of fight that is going to have lasting ramifications throughout the ages. So almost everybody reads this. Right? Vayavek ishimo alalot hashachar. They fight until dawn. Vayar kilo yacholo. He sees that he can't fully beat him. Vayiga bekaf yirecho. He touches the kaf, the heel of his hip. Right? That's how we generally, that's the sciatic nerve right by the hip. So we understand it. Batakav kaf yerach Yaakov behaf koimo, and that area was injured as he was fighting with the angel. We don't give it much thought. We assume, right? We almost kind of picture in our head, a wrestling match. And when you wrestle, sometimes different parts of the body get hurt, and it happens to be that the angel hits Yaakov in this spot. That's a terrible way to read the story. It's how most of us read it. But every detail, right, has to have meaning. Right? Why didn't he hit him in the arm? Why did he hit him in the toes? Why didn't he hit him in the face? Right? Why didn't he hit him in the heart? Meaning, it's a specific choice. Right? Here comes the all-important question. What is the yerech? Right? We know it's the hip because that's where he got hit, and that's where the sciatic nerve is. And of course, it's the hip. But if you look in the Chumash, right, the word yerech refers more to that general region than it does to the hip per se. And I can prove that to you. Okay. Number one, in the beginning of Shmos, right? Vayhi kol nefesh yotzei yerech Yaakov shivim nafesh. So that's the fifth pasuk, fifth verse, beginning of Shmos. The offspring that emerged from the yerech of Yaakov is 70 people. Right there, the yerech is not the hip because you don't have children with the hip. Right? Clearly, their yerech is a euphemism for the male sexual organ, which the Chumash does not have, the Hebrew doesn't have a word for. Right? It's called the aver, the organ, but it's not named. Right? In Judaism, genitalia are not named. It's a holy language. For whatever reason, that's the yerech. The yerech refers to the part of the body where you produce seed and you're able to have children. Right? A couple of weeks ago, we read the same thing. I'll prove it to you one step further. Right? When Eliezer goes to try and find a wife for Yitzchak, right? He's going to find Rivka. So before they go, Abraham and Eliezer have this dialogue. Vayomer Abraham elavdo. This is 24th chapter, second verse. Chaf Daled Beis in Bereshis, end of Chayei Sarah. Right? Vayomer Abraham elavdo zakan beito. Abraham says to the servant, the elder of his house, that we know as Eliezer, Hamoshel b'chol ha'shelo, who's in charge of all of his affairs. Simna yadcha tacha yirechi. Right, put your hand under my yerech. And there, Rashi famously tells us, right, why, I mean, he's not grabbing a hold of his hip, he's grabbing a hold right under his penis. Why would he do that? Rashi says, because you want to take an oath, you take a shavua, you want to have in your hand an item of mitzvah. It's like swearing on the Bible. But they don't have a Bible. And the only mitzvah that was performed was bris milah. And therefore he takes a hold tachat yirechi, right? There also the word yerech, right, refers not to the hip, but to genitalia. Good. What's the point, right? The point, of course, is that the angel of Esav is not interested in breaking our arm. He's not interested even in cracking one skull. Taking out a leg, that's not his point. The angel of Esav wants to go after our ability to have children. He wants to destroy us entirely, right? That's the point, right? That is, it's the angel wants to make sure that Jews will not reproduce, that we will disappear from the world, and that the angel saw kilo yuchalo. He couldn't do it. The hip protected, right, the seed, and Jews will always continue to exist. That's the dialogue, right? That's the fight. The angel of Esav wants to exterminate the Jews, but we have a divine promise. It can't happen. We could get hurt, but we'll never be exterminated, right? And that's part of this discussion. It's part of this fight. Again, the meta-historical meaning of this episode comes running through. I'll leave you with one fascinating interpretation that plays off of this theme. The Medrash in Bereshis Rabbah says, right, Vayiga bekaf yirecho, that when he touched that part of his body, right, naga b'tzadikim v'tzidkaniyot, he actually was able to impact tzadikim and tzidkaniyot, right, men and women who were so righteous throughout the ages. Right, Nevi'im and Nevi'ot, prophets and prophetesses, she'atitin latzet mimenu, who are offspring, descendants of Jacob. Ve'eza zedoro shel Shma, this is a generation of Shma, of destruction, of tragedy. Right, the angel, this Medrash too reads the hitting of the Yerech, right, not as the annihilation of our ability to create seed and reproduce, but he manages to touch future generations. That too sees Yerech as a place of seed, and that hitting of the Yerech puts into history damage to Yaakov's children. The Medrash reads it the same way, but the promise is, right, we need to understand two things. That's what our enemies want to do. But we have a divine promise that they'll never be able to do that. Shabbat Shalom.